Hi everyone, I'm Chris and I'm a mindset and change coach, speaker, and facilitator. If you would like access or have missed any parts of this interview series, you can find them in the links which I'll include below. In today's episode, we look at how VQ profile is different from other psychometric tools like MBTI or Hogan. So let's go. So since we're on the VQ profile, right? My next question is about this VQ profile. How is it different? How is it different from the other psychometric tools out there like MBTI or Hogan? And is the VQ profile the report that is it valid, right, for users outside of the US, like from other parts of the world?
Good question. So the VQ profile is our reporting methodology arising out of what Dr. Hartman created as the Hartman Value Profile Assessment Instrument. That assessment instrument he developed in the late 1960s, refined into the 1970s. He sadly passed away prematurely in 1973. Nonetheless, was nominated actually for the Nobel Peace Prize for his life's work. But the assessment instrument has been validated internationally in multiple languages and in multiple cultures for over 50 years, 60 years, and repeatedly. So, and it's viewed as one of the most valid in all the different validities. There's construct validity, repeat validity, uh, all of the different validities that are involved to be globally valid, regardless of gender, language, culture, religion, etc. So, yes, it's very valid. And in fact, here in the United States, there are certain rules and guidelines from an organization called the EEOC, the Equal Opportunity Committee, the Department of Defense, Department of Labor, about what kinds of assessments are able to be used, not just ethically, but even legally, for things like hiring and selection. And the Hartman Value Profile Assessment Instrument is one that is approved in all circumstances to be used and is considered valid for all reasons you'd want to assess anybody because of its validity. Okay? Now, that answers the validity question. Now, what about the how's it different? So it is not a personality assessment. It's not a behavioral assessment. There are no questions on it, like self-report. Let me give you an example. In the Myers-Briggs, the MBTI assessment, there's a question that's sort of like, when you go to a social event, are you likely to A, talk to everyone, or B, sit in the corner and only talk to people you know?
Mm.
Okay? And depending on how you answer the question, it's in combination with a few other similar questions. MBTI will label you either as an extrovert or an introvert. Okay? But here's the reality. There are many different reasons why a person will sit in the corner and only talk to people they know, and there are different reasons why somebody may talk to everyone in the room. From an axiological perspective, as one example, a person will talk to everyone because for systemic reasons their mother or systemically their parents told them that it's rude and you won't look good if you only stand in the corner. Get out there and talk to everybody. Or maybe the boss said, if you don't come back with business cards, you're fired. Well, I want to keep
Mm.
my job, so I'm going to have to go talk to everybody, right? Or you're going to talk to everybody because you're looking for your next date or what you're going to get out of it, or your next client. That may be the reason why you talk to everybody. But a third reason may be because you actually really like people. You're very curious about people. You love to connect with people. It has nothing to do with finding your next date or not getting fired or looking like a wallflower. It's that you love people.
Mm.
3 very different reasons for the exact same behavior. Now, if you were taking a Myers-Briggs MBTI assessment as part of applying for a job in outside sales, how will you answer the question? That you don't talk to anybody? Well, oh no, I talk to everybody, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, here's the interesting thing. Most extroverts don't talk to everybody because they like people. They talk to everybody as a way to look good, a way to win something like status or stature, okay? Or to get something. Introverted people are more likely to actually connect with people at an intrinsic level, at a real human level, and have a greater interest in other people. So Myers-Briggs has been shown to actually not be valid, more than about 50-50 in terms of really understanding. Take a DISC profile, a Strengths Finders assessment, a Hogan or a Big Five. There's many, 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 and they're all personality assessments. So here's the interesting thing. Personality assessments are only diagnostics of symptoms.
Mm.
It's not unlike going to a doctor and the doctor takes an x-ray and says, oh, look at that, your leg's broken. Okay? Or you've got a lump on your neck. We better find out what that is, right? Or you've got a cavity in your tooth. It's just a symptom. It's not the cause. What a VQ profile measures is the thinking that causes a personality assessment to come out the way that it does. But more importantly, it gives you the detail to understand. So let me give you an example of a DISC profile. If somebody shows up on a DISC profile as high D, what that means is they have sort of a dominating tendency, right? They can come on pretty strong. And unfortunately, when somebody gets labeled in a certain way, it's easily used as a convenient excuse for bad behavior or something that everybody else has to tolerate, or we have to try to hide it, fix it, compensate for it in some way. We're able to measure all the different ways of thinking that would have somebody show up, how their high D would show up in a way that becomes a liability. It's a bias underneath it that would cause them to come on too strong, to come on overly demanding, overly righteous, overly insistent that their way is the right way. Okay? But that person will also have ways of thinking that allow them to use the good parts of what comes out as a high D, of creative and passionate and maybe an outside the box thinker, and to be able to use those VQ profile cognitive assets without having to fix anything, without having to hide it, without needing to compensate for it, without that, what a personality profile says is a strength, that when it comes overused, it becomes a liability. Well, we know how to help somebody use the best of it without paying the price of the worst of it.
Mm.
And that's the fundamental difference. So while a personality profile can give you some general insight into how you tend to operate, a VQ profile gives you the means to operate better without fixing anything, without fake it till you make it or positive affirmations or telling people they just have to tolerate your, that's the way I am, I can't help it.
Mm. Okay. All right. So I think one key thing I picked up is that the VQ actually gives that deep insight into how a person thinks, that is really what will drive the action and behavior. Thank you for watching. Please show your support by clicking subscribe and like if this video has added value to you and you have found it to be useful. I'll see you soon.